Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, founder of Living Full Out, and I'm here with
Delorean Mars.
Delorean. I'm so excited to be here. We're going to be talking today about how to manage anxiety. Yuck, right? How do you get that anxiety out of your body, out of your mind? And for people who may not know you, Delorean, can you quickly introduce yourself?
Sure. So, again, my name is Delorean, and I am an anxiety coach. And I help stressed out people manage their anxiety so that they can live happier, calmer lives.
Love it. Love it. And then, of course, at Living Full Out, we help people do just that, live full out in life, connect those dots. So, all of that, though, you have to do ideally without anxiety. So, I'm just curious, DeLorean. So many people have all these responsibilities over the course of their day, the week, the month, the year, and then we have this pandemic on top of it. How do you manage anxiety when you're trying to go to sleep?
So, this is a big one for a lot of people. A lot of us lay down and all of our thoughts start kind of spinning and turning, and we can't really just, calm our mind to be able to fall asleep. So, one of the things that I highly, highly recommend that everybody should do is have a bedtime routine. Things like dim your lighting, no screens 45 minutes to 60 minutes before bed. That can really, really help. Another thing that I always recommend is allowing time during the day for your thoughts to process. So again, a lot of us, we're really busy. We're always checking our phone. We've always got our mind activated on something, and we never really let our minds calm down and really just kind of process thoughts until our head hits the pillow. So if you allow some time during the day for your thoughts to process, then that can kind of help with letting your mind work through things throughout the day instead of waiting all the way until the end of the day.
See, I love that because it's that purging, right? Get it out of your mind, write it down, whatever you got to do, but you can't go to sleep with it. I love it.
Right.
Great suggestions.
Right. So, and I have a question for you, Nancy. You had mentioned, the pandemic and all of the madness that's happening here in 2020. If it's going to happen, this is clearly the year. And so, how is the current state of the world? And, in particular here in the U.S., we've got, the highlighted racial issues, the out of control fires, the record breaking weather, all of that, all of the things. How has that affected your anxiety, and like, how have you continued to live full out during these uncharted times?
The thing is that's so interesting is people are stimulated by what they hear and what they see.
Mhm.
Thankfully, when I turn on the news, I hear it, but I'm not seeing the fires. When I go out there in the world, I don't see racial, I don't see black or white, I don't see homeless and, people who have a lot of money. I just take in people by who they are, their personality. And so the thing is, I'm also a very heart-centered person, and I believe in the good of people. I believe in our ability to get past this time. And if we really go back in time, we have been here before. The 70s, the 60s, the 80s, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
know, different decade, different situations, but I just believe in the human spirit. And I think that sometimes this pandemic, it's brought us closer, although it's made things a little bit, anxiety driven, right? With all the Zoom meetings and this and that. But I really believe that it's brought us closer in terms of checking on each other or maybe being stuck at home together. So go COVID. No, I'm kidding. Go blindness. No, I just think I'm a glass half full person. So, and I'm curious too, because I think a lot of times when we go through a long day or a breakup or a loss of a job or whatever, and maybe all of that causes anxiety, we feed that dragon, right? We give the words of I can't, or I wasn't good enough, or it's never going to work out. But how do you take your power back when it comes to anxiety?
So, one thing that I highly recommend is to be proactive, and this is very important because once you're kind of in the midst of a anxious spiral, your mind has kind of got that negative momentum going. It can be really hard to stop that momentum once you're in the midst of it. So I recommend being proactive. And what I mean by that is, have a do-it-yourself self-care box that you've have set up for yourself long before you get into that anxious spiral. Or, have in your mind, okay, if I ever get really anxious, I'm going to practice my 5 senses grounding, which I talk about on my website. Or, just make some kind of a plan ahead of time so that once you get into that anxious momentum, you have some tools that you can use to kind of break yourself out of it. Another thing that I recommend is don't let anxiety stop you from doing the things that you want to do. Anxiety is very loud, and the fears can be paralyzing, but take those fears right along with you and just keep going. And that gives you your power back, that I'm not going to let that anxiety stop me. I'm going to take my anxiety right along with me, and I'm going to show it that it's not as scary as my anxiety is telling me that it is.
I love it. In the spirit of it almost being Halloween, it's not so scary.
Yeah.
I love it.
One more question for you, Nancy. What are some things that you do on a daily basis for your self-care and mental health mental breaks? And I know a lot of us do all different things, and self-care can look different for everybody. So what are some things that you typically do?
I'm such a romantic person at heart, romantic with life and romantic in general. I honestly, the first thing I do in the day is I turn on my love songs channel. I don't know, I'll catch some song that kind of takes me back when and just puts me in a good place. Then at some point I will navigate over and check out the news just to be in the know of what's going on, but I won't stay long because it can be like a bad neighborhood. Sometimes you don't want to stay long in a bad neighborhood. And then I will kind of look at the gratitude of the day, the people I get to work with, the projects that we're going to move forward. And then, of course, a little lick from my little dog, Charlie, that always lifts my spirits. And then when I go to sleep at night, I have an Alexa, and I actually put it in my room, and I will listen to either positive speakers or motivational music, but I don't do TV. I don't do my iPhone. I just listen to the Alexa, something motivational, and that kind of like bookends in my day. I kind of get juiced up and calm in the morning, but yet I go to bed relaxed and motivated. And I find that those bookends are really important. And then I just want to say one last thing. I think it's also, when I say gratitude, I think it's important that to manage anxiety, that we think of other people than ourselves, because if we're focusing on our own situation and the scariness of that monster anxiety, then we do feed that. But when we think about other people and what they're going through and empathy for them and wishing them well, I think it kind of, again, takes that pain off of our hearts a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Right. I love that.
Yeah. And, I'm curious, Delorean, how can people reach out to you? Because you got all these tips on your website and all these things going on. Where do they go?
Well, my website is simple. It's just silverjasmine.com. That's where you can find me. You can read a little bit about me. I have a lot of blog posts on there about anxiety-related blog posts and personality-related blog posts. I'm an introvert, so I have a lot of introverted blog posts on there as well. And you can also find me in my Facebook group. I'm really active in there. I love the group that I have in there. All the women and men in there are amazing. And my Facebook group is Anxiety Relief, Confidence, and Motivation. So you can find me there.
Very cool. Very cool.
Where can we find you, Nancy?
The main hub will be livingfullout.com, and anybody who wants to go to our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, all of them, they can get it from there, as well as the radio show. Check us out there. We always have inspirational guests on the show that can lift your spirits. And then reach out to me. I mean, me and Delorean, we're never too far away, right, girl? We're right there.
Right. Yeah.
Right there to help out.
Yeah. Just a simple click.
That's right. So everybody go out there, live your best life, anxiety-free, hopefully. And thank you for joining us. Bye.